How do, and welcome back. Someone in the comments, I think a couple of videos ago, asked me if I still vaped, and I do, but not much these days. You may not know, actually, this channel started 10 years ago as a vaping channel, and I carried on with that for about 3 years before I quit for one reason or another. But I still vape, just not a lot now. But I do enjoy using these e-pipes. This I commissioned, it's hand carved by a guy in, it's either Slovakia or Slovenia, I'm not sure which one now. But he hand carves these beautiful e-pipes. And I've got about 3 from him. And I've also got 2 hand carved e-pipes from Australia. But yeah, I still vape, but only now and then. That's it. Okay, so someone asked me, so yes I do, but not a lot. Maybe once a day for about 5 minutes or so. Right, well today I'm just going to give you an update, a bit of a vlog about what I'm doing, because of course I went to Germany for a week and I couldn't do anything. Video wise, it's a story for another video, but let's just say our plane was cancelled, so we lost a day's holiday and everything just ended up being a bit hectic. If you're not in the UK you won't know, but our airports our airports are absolutely going, they've been so short staffed because of the pandemic, and now in Europe all countries now are just opening up again, all the borders. When we went to Germany, we was never asked anything about our COVID status at the airports. So everybody's going to the airports to get away for like the Easter holiday, and the airports are just so understaffed. It's mayhem. And air companies, the aeroplanes, they're just cancelling flights left, right and centre. Well, yeah, ours was cancelled and we lost a day's holiday, but that's a story for another video. So yeah, I'm going to give you an update today on what I've been up to brewing wise. I've got a few things on and I thought I will drink a beer whilst I'm doing so. This is, I believe, pronounced Timisoreana or Soana, something like that. It's a Romanian beer and it's one of the most popular beers in Romania. It's a Pilsner style, 5%, and it's coming in a 500ml can. So I'm going to crack it open and I'll explain what I've been up to whilst I taste this. This brewery's been around since 1718, I think it is, and it's now owned by Asahi Japan. Now, when this brewery was set up, Romania was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And obviously when the Pilsner style beer was first developed in Pilsen, that's why it's called Pilsner, which is now in the Czech Republic. This company, obviously, that's in 1844, and this company was still part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So I'm just wondering if this beer has a bit more of a bohemian feel about it than, say, a standard mass-produced macro lager, but we'll wait and see. Let's have a smell. Faint smell. Bit watery sort of smell, like a mineral water. A little bit of a metallic note in there, which I don't think comes from cans. Hops, some hops can give that metallic note because you can get it from bottles. But a lot of people seem to think, oh, it's the can, but I don't think it is. Otherwise, every beer in a pub would taste or smell of metal, because they're kept in metal kegs. Bit of a light malt, and that metallic-y, which I'm assuming is coming from a hop. But there's none of the grassiness from like your SARS hops or anything like that. Okay, I'm going to take a swig of this. It's been chilling for about 3 hours right at the back of the fridge, so it's nice and cold. Cheers. Oh, that's nice. That's pleasant. Malt forward. There is a little bit of a Czech bohemian feel to it. It's got some nice sweet malt up there, up front. Very little to no bitterness at all. Maybe a little bit of floraliness. Maybe some noble hops have been used in this as well. Light mouthfeel, as you would expect. Ooh, as you would expect from a lager Pilsner beer. But this seems to have a little bit more body. So it's on that sort of Czech style. It's certainly not like your mass-produced German or Dutch or Danish beers. There seems to be a little bit more body to it. Pleasant feel, a little bit of that metallicness just at the back end on that sip. It's a pleasant beer. It's a lager, Pilsner style lager. Yeah, it's okay, and it'll do me for 10 or so minutes whilst I tell you what I've been up to. So tomorrow I'm brewing in the kettle, but I've decided not to do the saison. What I've decided to do is revisit the Warsteiner from my Clone Brews beer book. I did it last year and it turned out remarkably well, but I forgot to do a side by side, so I didn't really give an update on it. So this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to brew it, because I really enjoy Warsteiner, and as I can get Warsteiner literally everywhere, you know, in the country really, it's everywhere, it's in every shop. What I've decided to do, oh, it's gassy. What I've decided to do is buy a bottle when it's finished and then do a side by side. So the homebrew clone versus the original Warsteiner. I've got all the ingredients. The only thing I'm really changing is going to be the yeast, which I'll talk about anyway because I'll film myself brewing it. I'm going to use Lutra Kvike, but I'm going to ferment at room temperature, because I've heard that's where you get the really super clean ferment from Lutra. Lutra, as a Kvike strain, is known to be really clean, but you can ensure that if you still brew at room temperature rather than the normal 30-35 degrees that you usually associate with Kvike. So I'm going to brew it at room temperature. Now I've heard that even then it still just eats through the malt, and within about 4 days it's finished. I'll probably leave it a little bit longer because next week I'm having to fly to Dublin for just one day. Well, one night and then one day, and then I fly back in the evening, or next Friday. So what I'll probably do is I'll start it tomorrow, and then I'll just leave it till next Saturday when I should be ready for bottling. So that's what I'm going to be brewing in the kettle this month. I've also got 2 other beers on the go, besides of course the Admirals, which is part of the Woodford series I'm doing. I've got 2 other beers on the go. These are small batches, 12 litres. One is the saison, and that's a raw saison. So I'm just using my quick raw brew method. I used isomerized extract for bittering, And I also added some Brew Firm Belgium orange peel. I made a tea out of it and then I poured that in. And I'm using Belle Saison yeast. It tastes fantastic, and it's coming out at about 6.8 to 7.2%, and there's no alcohol taste to it at all. So I'm really happy with that one. It's starting to taste really nice. I was thinking of using some hop aroma extract, but I don't think I will. I think I'm just going to leave it alone because that yeast is adding so much flavour. I only used an extra light dry malt, so there's not a strong malt flavour to it. So everything you're tasting is from the yeast, and it's got such a beautiful flavour to it, fruity, some spiciness to it, and it's really dry. I mean, it's really dry, without being overly bitter. I didn't go over the top with the bittering extract. I think that's going to be a real success. And the second one I've got, again, it's another 12 litre batch. It's a pale ale, and I used a Cooper's Light malt extract, the liquid malt extract. But I also added about 300 grams of extra light dry malt extract, because with a tin, even though it's 1.5 kilogram, 20% of that is water, so you're only getting 1.2 kilograms of fermentables. So I just topped it up a bit. That's coming out at about 4.95%, so a nice beer there. And I'm going to I'm dry hopping now with Riwaka hops, the New Zealand Riwaka hop. And so that would be a nice tropical fruity sort of beer for the warmer spring days that we're getting now. So that's what I've got on, and that will be bottled tomorrow. So I've actually taken out the dry hops. They were in for about 3-4 days. I've taken them out now, and I've left it a little bit longer because I'm doing an experiment with the pale ale and the saison. I'm using for the first time gelatin, just to see if it makes a big difference. And as I'm not cold crashing them, I've read on a blog somewhere that just leave it for about 2 or 3 days with the gelatin in. If you're cold crashing, then it's 24 hours. The cold crash and the gelatin will just drop everything out. But if you're not cold crashing, and I don't have the facilities to do that, like a dedicated fridge, just leave it a bit longer. So it's the saison now, it's about day 2, so tomorrow will be about, I'm bottling it today, so that will have had about 2.5 days, and the pale ale would have had about 3 days. So it's the first time I've ever used any sort of clearing agent other than thyme, which clears everything. Thyme is a great healer. Well, it's also a great clearer of beer as well. But it's the first time I've used any sort of finings, and I'm doing it as an experiment because I'm thinking with the Vorsteiner, especially doing a side-by-side, to keep it sort of like in style, which is like this, a very clear beer. Will it work? So I'm using them as a bit of a test case, and if it's successful, I will add some to the Vorsteiner, and hopefully we'll get a nice clear lager stroke pilsner style beer. And I'm doing I'm following this recipe exactly, except for the yeast. I'm following the recipes exactly, and it's 19.5 litres I think it comes out at. It's an American book, so when you convert to metric, you get these odd figures. I think it's 19.5 or something like that litres I'll be making. So that's what I've got coming up. I thought I'd make this quick video just to update you. And of course, I will be doing taste tests on camera for all the beers. So that's something to look forward to. Again, next month we're going to have the Admiral Reserve side by side, commercial v homebrew, which has been going quite well. I'm really enjoying that Nelson's bitter. I tried one last night again, and it's a really nice beer. So it'll be interesting to see how the Admiral's turns out, and whether it's close to that commercial beer. And we'll be finding out in probably about a month's, well, less than a month, maybe 3 weeks time, now. So that'll be interesting. I haven't decided yet though what I'm going to be brewing in the kettle next month, but it'll be a small batch. It'll be like a 12 litre batch, because at the moment I've got so many beers. I'm giving some away actually, like some of the Nelson I'll give away, because just making too much if that's possible. Right, thanks for watching. I'm going to go and get my bottles ready, sanitised. I've already cleaned them. I clean as I go along, and I find that's the best way when you bottle, because a lot of people when they bottle, it's like, I've got to wash all these bottles. You've got like 40 bottles or something. Just clean them as you go along, and then just give them a spray with some Star San and give it a shake. And that's your sanitation done, and it doesn't take long at all. So, and if you use I find if you use the PET bottles with the screw tops rather than glass, recycled glass bottles, and you've got to put the crown top on top. If you use the PET bottles with a screw top, I've had no trouble after I've finished a beer just washing it out thoroughly, sanitising it straight away. I use a squirt gun and a squirt inside all around, turn the bottle round, squirt inside, put the top on, give it a shake, because there will be some liquid inside of it, pour that out, put the top on, and then just leave it till your bottling day. And that could be in a week's time, it could be in 2 weeks' time, doesn't matter. It's never failed me, just doing that. And if you do it as you go along, or say after every 4 or 5 beers, it's not a big effort. And then on bottling day, it's all done for you. So that's what I do. So there's not much to do. I think I've got about 5 bottles just to clean from last night. 5 bottles to clean and sanitise, and then I'll start bottling the Saison. Right, thanks very much. I'm off now, and I hope you have a great weekend. And as always, I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye for now.